is very no, kaya all our efforts para hindi masayang yung dami ng enforcers.
Transport regulators warn drivers against failing to follow road safety rules. Like this bus with wipers and signal lights that don't work.
Inspect po natin yung roadworthiness, mga dokumento, yung bang mga driver ay may mga lisensya na angkop dun sa pinag-drive nila.
While traffic congestion cannot be avoided in some portions of Commonwealth Avenue in Quezon City and areas near schools, overall, traffic volume was lighter than expected. LTFRB says there are enough public utility vehicles to serve
for our students.
Transport Group Manibela acknowledges the move to reopen previous
Mapabilis na po yung pagpaparehistro namin kasi hindi naman po biro yung penalty na babayaran po namin.
CNN Philippines has sought regulators for comment, but the LTFRB has yet to respond. George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
Because of Tropical Storm Florita, classes are suspended tomorrow as lawmakers dig deep into the aborted sugar importation. A congressional hearing reveals conflicts within a regulatory body. At the House of Representatives,
My faith in God led me to all these blessings. Kaya ako, all out.
welcome back to CNN Philippines. It was a sweet deal becoming sour as lawmakers questioned former sugar regulators over supply issues. More details about their supposedly illegal importation order surfaced. Let's bring in Lois Calderon for the details.
Via another bitter interpellation in Congress, the subject was the country's sugar supply, put in the hot seat were sugar regulators who resigned after President Bongbong Marcos vetoed an order bans of imported sugar. Former Sugar Regulatory Administration Chief Hermenegildo Serafica and Agriculture Undersecretary Loie Ocasio Sebastian field questions from lawmakers. More details on how they wrote the sugar order surfaced.
Alam mo ba kung kailan unang nalaman ng ating Pangulo
yung importation plan na pinagagawa sa inyo noong August 1?
Nung hinatid ko po yung importation plan sa office po ni Undersecretary Sebastian, ang alam ko po, nag-submit siya ng memo sa mahal na Pangulo,
And that was what date?
August 5.
Sinabi ba ng Pangulo na a-approve niya yung inyong importation plan o kinakailangang ikonsulta niyo muna sa kanya kung kanyang a-approvean?
Ang sinabi lang niya po, Your Honor, submit an importation plan.
Okay. At hindi
Calling the shots being the agriculture secretary and chairman of SRA. The regulator's defense was that farmers and the sugar industry were consulted and term last June 30. Serafika said he's not covered by that order since the agency is a government-owned and controlled corporation and there has to be proper transition. But his deputies and the legal team allegedly wanted an OIC, effectively not recognizing his authority. One of his deputies told lawmakers they were left out when Serafika crafted the order. Let's listen to what Serafika said.
I was a victim of MC1. Memorandum Circular number 1. When it came, I felt that they breached my trust as far as SRA high, below me, officials and SRA. And at that point, as I said earlier, we have so many sugar orders precedent on these issues. And it is just a question of getting the current data.
Subic and other warehouses had import clearance because that one, Pia, is inconclusive. Back to you.
Lois Calderon reporting. In other news, the President submits to the House of Representatives the proposed national budget for 2023. Find out the
Education tops spending with nearly 853 billion pesos. The agency handling infrastructure projects is next with 718 billion pesos, followed by the health sector with nearly 300 billion pesos. Social welfare will get 197 billion pesos, while spending for agriculture, now headed by the President, will be up by a hefty 32% at 184 billion pesos. The Budget Department says infrastructure projects that are good to go will get 1.2 trillion pesos. The country will also pay off debts worth 611 billion pesos. With only 244 billion pesos added to the current budget, the DBM admits it cannot grant all spending requests, even for key projects like the construction of new classrooms. No funding as well for the 500 peso increase in monthly pension for poor senior citizens. Meanwhile, the purchase of COVID-19 vaccines is subject to reaching revenue targets.
We also recognize that they needed certain amounts for their priority projects. But not to the extent of what Congress on this, although we will be providing them with the utilization rates of various departments so that they will at least know where it can be sourced.
Speaker Martin Romualdez says the House of Representatives will scrutinize the General Appropriations Bill with barely a month left. The budget is first submitted to the House before it goes to the Senate. The House plans to end Appropriations Committee hearings by September 16th. Plenary debates begin September 21st and final approval by September 30th before Congress goes on recess. Held preliminary budget hearings for minor concerns.
That many of the policy concerns raised by our members would have been resolved so that we expect a swift and
5 trillion pesos. Breaking news at this hour, the Health Department has detected and isolated the country's fourth monkeypox case. The fourth case is a 25-year-old Filipino with no documented travel history from any country with confirmed cases of the viral disease. So far, all 4 monkeypox cases in the Philippines are isolated and unrelated to each other. We'll give you more details as soon as they become available. Moving on now to other stories. 2 leaders of the New People's Army reportedly killed in a motorized boat explosion in Catbalogan, Samar early this morning. Benito and Wilma Tiamzon, Chairman and Secretary General of the New People's Army respectively, were said to be on the boat suddenly exploded. Troops were conducting a waterborne interdiction operation in the area. We now go above and beyond the headlines with the Division Command of the 8th Infantry Division Major General Edgardo Bugi de Leon. Good evening, General de Leon. Thank you very much for joining us. Can you tell us first, at this point in time, sir, as of 6:20 in the evening, alam na po ba natin if Benito and Wilma Tiamzon were on that boat or not? Do we already know that information for sure?
As of now, we don't have any physical evidence to prove that the Tiamzons are aboard the said motorboat. The report that reached me and in my personal troops reached the area. During sunrise. No, the incident happened after sunrise. When they approached the area, all they saw were pieces of debris scattered in the water. So I asked them if they were able to see any indicators of human remains.